All right, today I am bringing you the Big Ten rankings from 2000 to now. Who is going to be number one? Probably not a shock, but everything in the middle is going to be very interesting. So let's get ready to go. Coming in at number 14, we have Indiana with 100 wins since 2000 and no big bowl games or championships or any really thing trophy-wise for the football team. Indiana is in the basement of the Big Ten, and it's only going to get worse because you're going to go down even lower in the pecking order with 4 big-time programs joining next year. So sorry, Indiana fans, I just don't see you being relevant in the near future. Number 13, we have Rutgers, and honestly, they are just like Indiana, but hey, they had that one fun year where they won the Big East and had a really good record, but other than that, they haven't done anything in bowl game wise. I'm really rooting for them because I like Greg Schiano as a coach. I think he's, interesting and exciting, but man, they just don't really have much else going, and I think it's just going to be more tough times for Rutgers. So they come in at 13 with not much history or anything other than that one year. Was it 2008? Maybe 2009? I don't remember. They had one good year. That's it. Coming in at number 12 is Illinois, and they've honestly had some decent seasons, it feels like, at least in the Big Ten. They have the Big Ten championship all the way back to 2000, which is kind of cool. But other than that, Illinois, has been a bottom feeder in the Big Ten Conference, only 106 wins since 2000, so I think 12th is the perfect spot for them. Maybe the future is brighter for the Fighting Illini. Number 11, one of the new additions, you have is Maryland. I think, with a below 500 record, really struggling in the Big Ten, only 23 wins since joining the Big Ten and 52 losses. They do have an ACC championship in this era, but all in all, Maryland's not been a great football team. They do have some exciting players this year, so they're a fun team to watch, but 11, I feel like, is a fair spot for Maryland. Number 10, we have Purdue. Purdue Boilermakers are 147 and 152 since 2000. They've not done very well in the conference. They do have a Big Ten championship, even though it was, back in the day before the Big Ten championship game, so it was a tiebreaker. But they do have some exciting, looks onto this team. The offense has been interesting, kind of breaking the mold of, the traditional Big Ten offense, run heavy. They've been pass heavy, so that's kind of cool. But other than that, no big bowl games, nothing really big historical. I mean, Drew Brees was here before the 2000s, which was kind of cool and kind of what they're known for. But other than that, Purdue is kind of just a lackluster team in the Big Ten, and I think 10 is a perfect spot for them. Number 9 in the conference is a staple of the Big Ten, and that is Minnesota. Their glory years are a long, long time ago, but they've been, consistently average in the last 23 years. You have, 149 wins, 135 losses, a below 500 record in the conference, but they do have a Holiday Bowl and an Outback Bowl, which is kind of cool, I guess. PJ Fleck really had a lot of hype a few years ago. That hype's kind of died down. What are we going to see Minnesota moving forward? I don't know, but I think 9th is a fair spot for them. Kind of the old heads of the conference. They've been there forever, but we need to see what can they do in this future. Nebraska comes in at number 8. They've been okay in the Big Ten. Their glory days are beyond them. In the 90s, they were really solid in the early 2000s in the Big 12, and that's kind of why they fall in at 8. 3 Alma Bowls, 1 Holiday Bowl, but their recent years have not been very great. Hopefully, with the new coach, they can kind of get back on track and be Nebraska of old, but I think they're going to kind of regret this last 15 years in the Big Ten. Maybe with the money in the Big Ten, they can figure it out, but I think their best days might be beyond them just because of what's coming in 2024. 7 is interesting. We have Northwestern. I know they have all the craziness this last offseason, but they've been a consistently average team, and I think 7th, right in the middle, is perfect for them. They do have 1 Big Ten championship. They've been to the Holiday Bowl and won it. Not really any other big-time bowl games, but I think they've just been consistently good. I know they've had a couple really down years recently, but they've been consistently that 7-6 team, 6-6, 6-7. That's the range. And that's where they deserve to be, so I think 7 is a good spot to them. All right, now we're getting to the heavyweights of the Big Ten. We have Iowa coming in at number 6. They've had a great record over this 23-year period. You know, you have multiple Outback wins, an Outback Bowl. You have you have the Capital One Bowl. You won a lot of decent games. They even have an Orange Bowl win, 2-time Big Ten champion. They have been consistently solid in this last 23 years. But they just don't have, those kind of signature moments of being that elite team in this conference. So that's why I have them coming in at number 6. 5, I have Michigan State, and you're probably like, they're usually more consistent than Michigan State. Yes, I know Michigan State's been down recently, but they have been the better team than Iowa, I think, over this stretch. I know Iowa had more wins, but Michigan State has that signature moment, that college football playoff appearance, that big moment. They've won one more Big Ten championship, and that's why I'm giving Michigan State the nod over Iowa, even a Rose Bowl win. Like, that's what the Big Ten is. You got to win those Rose Bowls. You got to win the conference championships. So that's why Michigan State comes in at number 5. Number 4, and this might shock some people, it might not, we'll see. I have Penn State. Yes, in his last recent years, they've been the 3rd best team in the Big Ten. They do have 3 Big Ten championships, but I'm sorry, you can't get over the hump of Michigan and Ohio State. You do have 1 Rose Bowl and an Orange Bowl, which is awesome. But there's just something missing with this Penn State team. And I know the scandal and the Sandusky stuff really hurt the program, but I'm sorry, you are kind of the 4th fiddle in this conference right now, and until you can get over the hump, and I think they might be able to get over the hump in 2023, but right now 4th is where I have Penn State. And the shocker, which is going to probably piss off a lot of Penn State fans, I have Wisconsin 3rd. And the reason I have Wisconsin 3rd is they have more wins over that time period. They have a better conference record. They've been more consistent, I believe, in the Big Ten conference. They have 3 Big Ten championships, just like Penn State, so they don't really have that over them. I know Penn State has the Rose Bowl, and that, is a knock on Wisconsin to not get that done, but they have the Orange Bowl. They won the Cotton Bowl. They've been consistently in big bowl games, and I like where their future is going, and, we'll see, but I have Wisconsin 3rd. Don't kill me, Penn State fans, please. And coming in at 2, we have Michigan. I'm sorry, Michigan fans, but your recent success is not going to give you over the hump. You do have a lot of Big Ten championships at your disposal, so 5 is nice, but you're not competing with the big boy who gets number 1 here. You do have 2 college football playoff appearances, which is awesome too. A Sugar Bowl win, but you haven't won a national championship in the last 23 years. You haven't been as consistent as this team at number 1, and you don't even have 200 wins, so you can't really truly be that power program, that elite program. They all have 200 wins in this time period, and that gets me to number 1. No surprise here. This was the obvious choice, the obvious answer, and that is Ohio State coming in at number 1. 248 wins in this time period, 159 in conference, absolutely dominant, 11 Big Ten championships, so just dominating this 23-year time period. Been to the BCS championship games, has a Heisman, won a Natty in this time period as well. So just electric stuff for Ohio State. So you got to give them all the love. You got to give them all the credit. 5-time college football playoff appearances. So, they just have everything. They are one of the elite premier programs in the nation, and they deserve this number 1 spot because there's no one even close to them in the Big Ten. Maybe Michigan, if you can keep up with what you're doing for the next 10, 15 years, you have an argument, but right now it's Ohio State and nobody else. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? Let me know, and thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all, and see y'all next time.